This week we're going to start making line plots. Line plots are some of the easiest ways to graph data that we might take in science, just because we work with forces in motion, or just problem sets I might give you in math. Line plots can tell us a couple things about our number sets just with a quick visual reference. We can see how many times a value has occurred, we can see which value occurred the most, and we can kind of get a picture of how our data is shaped. Line plots, lead to making bar graphs later on, but they're quick, easy, and they take less time to make. What's important with a line plot is that, one, you have a number line, that your range goes from the smallest piece of data you have all the way through to the largest piece of data. And it includes numbers that you might not have data for. I'm going to give you an example here on my next board. And another thing that's important is that your interval is the same and that's equal distance between each one. Now, I didn't use graph paper, this isn't drawn to scale, but if you look, I've tried to keep about the same distance in between each one of my numbers. Here is a line plot for a set of data that I just made up. Now, one of the big problems that I have with this line plot is that I didn't include the title. Why have data without a title? We don't know what we're really looking at. But for the teaching point, this is going to work fine. You'll notice that my range of my data goes from 10 all the way up to 24. It's hidden out here behind my big body. I included some numbers that I have no data on. 12 didn't occur in my data set. Neither did 19, 20, 21, 22, or 23. I make the line. I plot all my numbers on there. I make sure that my interval is about the same. I don't have 11 really scrunched up against 10 and then have a giant gap between 12. And then I make sure that I just plot the values using an X. They're the equal size. That way they kind of make layers. 10 happened once, 11 happened 3 times. You can see that 13 happened twice, 14 once, 15 4 times. 16 occurred in our data set, this imaginary data set, 3 times. 17 occurred once, 18 occurred twice. And then I have what's called an outlier. An outlier is a value that occurs either really far down the line from our main grouping or really, really high up from our main grouping. Our outlier in this case is 24. From this graph, I can see frequency. And what frequency means is how often a particular value occurs. Okay? How frequent somebody's behavior gets them silent lunch. How frequently I might have to use the restroom if I drink too much water. In this particular graph, you can see that some of these values occur more than once. Mode is the value that occurs the most. 15 is the value that has the greatest frequency. It occurs the most. It's the mode. Were you thinking 15? If you weren't thinking 15, stop. Pause this video and recount to make sure. It's only to 4 guys. Just saying. All right. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to go ahead and build a line plot for tomorrow. The following data is how many free throws Duke basketball hit per game. Go Blue Devils. Create a line plot for this data. Here are the following numbers. There's like 26 of them. 21, 32, 18, 18, 25, 22, 23, 22, 18, 17, 18, 20, 20, 24, 23, 25, 23, 30, 18, 19, 20, 23, 21, 23, and 32. Each one of these values represent the number of free throws they hit in that game. Even though you might have numbers like 18 or 20 multiple times, you need to include each value as a separate X. Okay? Write the entire problem out. Make me a line plot. We're going to check it tomorrow.